I'm going to start by saying that I do love that we are now in a day and age where we are thinking about ideas such as standards, right? We're not willing to just settle for any old thing, especially in the context of a relationship. However, many of us have fallen into a trap of creating these quote unquote standards based upon Delulu. We have created delusional standards for ourselves that actually stop us from getting into any sort of satisfying relationship. You know, you're blocking your true soulmate from coming in because of these false standards. Now, a lot of what we hold to be standards are nothing more than a projection of our own insecurities, our own feelings of inadequacy, and truly our own shallowness. We've become so shallow as a society that we fixate upon these physical characteristics and attributes that actually don't mean a damn thing. And we hold those to be standards, right? I want somebody who is, who's 6 feet, or, I want somebody who is thick on the other side with the ladies. Oh, I want somebody who has, 6 figures. Oh, I want somebody who, damn, I can't even think that many. For men, it's really almost all body based, right? She got to have this shape. She got to have this tone or skin. She got to have this type of face. So many of these attributes are based upon the body. And then y'all side, it's, I want him to be a baller. I want him to be, a dope boy. I want him to be, crazy, wild, and adventurous. But he's also got to have this and that. We have all these preconditions placed that are nothing more than dysfunctionally programmed ideas of what will create for a satisfying relationship. They are shallow, they are based on the surface, and they are keeping most people miserable. You hold standards that oftentimes do not match what is going to lead to a successful relationship. Let me run that back one more time. Oftentimes, more often than not, you are holding standards in place that will not lead to a successful relationship. If you are fixated on somebody's external attributes, but not the internal qualities, you are fixated on those things that do not lead to a successful relationship. Somebody may very well have the bag. They may be very good looking. They may have all these other attributes that you were told were attractive. Yet those do not determine whether or not this is a healthy and functional individual. I brought up an example of the dope boy. I know from my own history. Now, this is a statute of limitation. It was more than 10 years ago, so I can speak on this. When I was out in them streets doing what I was doing, right? Hood pharmacist, as I may call it, there was a certain type of woman who was attracted to me. And, they were simply attracted to me for the reason that I was a dope boy, that I was doing what I was doing. There was something appealing about it. And they viewed me as somebody that they desired and wanted to be with. Now, was I relationship material because I was, living this life of paranoia and dysfunction and toxicity? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I was the complete opposite. But these women, or these young women, were reflective of that very same energy. They were reflective of the very same place, which is dysfunction and toxicity. And so that's what they resonated with. And so we would end up in dysfunctional relationship dynamics, however that showed itself. And so when it comes to, hopefully we've grown out of that stage and we're now looking at, again, these characteristics of somebody who has a certain lifestyle, right? Or have the certain look or whatever it may be. I remember somebody saying her BBL or her body is not going to be raising your kids. They didn't say BBL. That's me being extra. But her body is not going to be raising your kids. Her character is. Her level of integrity or the lack of integrity is, right? Her level of honesty and loyalty is. That's who you're going to be in a relationship with. That's who's going to be raising them children. His six-pack abs or muscles are not going to be raising your kids. His mentality and his heart is. His 6 figures aren't going to be raising the kid. They might be able to pay for extra Pampers and, 2 or 3 more vacations throughout the year, but they're not going to be raising that child. It is the mentality, the ideology, the way in which this man moves through life, his perspective, his emotional regulation, his emotional intelligence, his ability to be tuned in and tapped into himself. Therefore, he can be tuned in and tapped into another. His level of faithfulness and loyalty to the process. When things are hard, he's not just going to skip town, but instead he's going to be there and carry it through and impute these characteristics into that child. We're getting down to. These are the things that matter, and yet we have this criteria, we have these standards, we have these expectations of what somebody's supposed to be that will fulfill. We've been sold on a farce. It's a ruse. It's a lie. We have been sold on the idea that in order for us to have a passionate, emotionally compelling, hot and spicy relationship, that we need all of these other factors that are more times than not going to actually be detriments to a successful relationship, to a healthy and mature relationship. So many folks are addicted to the chaos in a relationship that they wouldn't be able to recognize peace if it hit them in the face. They would run from peace. They believe peace to be boring. How many times have not heard that throughout my lifetime? The relationship is just boring. He's just boring. He's not really that fun. Fun to most of y'all is chaotic. Fun to most of y'all is dysfunction. It is drama. It is some sense of emotional irregularities in emotion, the ups and the downs, the roller coaster ride of life. And if that's what you're looking for, then you're not looking for a healthy relationship. So you have to be honest with yourself. You're not looking for a functional relationship. And if that's what you want, then that's okay. But you got to be honest with yourself. You got to stop lying to yourself and saying, I want this thing and I'm doing everything to align myself with this thing, but I'm just not getting it because, there just aren't many of these type of people out there. If you were a match to that healthy relationship, there could be one person left on this planet who has those attributes and you would get into a relationship with them. Like, that's how powerful the law, the universal principle that is at hand is. It will align you with that one person across the planet. And I'm a living example of that. Across the planet, on the other side of the world, unbeknownst to you, it will line you up with that individual. But so long as you stay in this perpetual shallowness of a relationship, which at the depth is really, all these elements of fear, of anxiety, of worthlessness and these other belief systems that you hold and these other emotional addictions that you perpetuate, you will continue to attract that in your current environment. That's all you can let in. That's all you can entertain. That's all you can engage, at least for the long term. You might be able to pretend it for a little bit on the surface, but deep down, if you have not actually uprooted those belief systems, if you haven't interrogated why it is that you continue to do what you're doing, if you don't look to align yourself in a different way. I'm not talking about like at a surface level, just saying, I want something different. I want something different. I want something different. Just, saying it to yourself over and over isn't going to change it. You have to actually do the work, what we call the shadow work. You got to go deep down and start to investigate the belief systems, deep down, investigate the stories, the things that may have happened in childhood that are now perpetuating in your adulthood. And you have to be honest about them. You can't continue lying to yourself saying there ain't nothing wrong with me. There ain't nothing going on with me. It's them. Toxic, narcissist, right? You got to start looking within yourself in order to align yourself. A lot of these things that we call standards are not truly standards, but instead they are barriers. They are hurdles. Not the type of hurdles that, that you want. Not the fun type of hurdles that you 1, 2, 3, jump, 1, 2, 3, jump. I'm talking about the ones that are a burden in your life. The ones you have to climb and scale over and struggle over and, and exert energy and waste time over. Those type of hurdles are the ones that you put in your own way when you continue to create these standards based upon your pain, based upon trauma, based upon, past context, which is the belief systems that you inherited from your past and you continue to perpetuate. And so the only way to loosen yourself from that bond is to start to actually investigate those in an honest way and say, what is this about? And then you look at the qualities that you truly desire, and the way you become a match, a resonance to that frequency, to that energy, is you have to change. You have to become the match to that energy. It's the only way. You want something different without doing something different. As the brother Einstein said, that is the definition of insanity.
I don't chase the bag, no, I don't chase it at all. Yeah, I'm the type to manifest about as quick as withdrawals. You see my life in ATM, see all the hundreds involved. Feel like a magnet in my stack and want my energy charged. I don't chase the bag, no, I don't chase it at all. I swear my life is like abundance, got infinity card. I'm seeing 20s, 50s, 100s, swear this life like an art. A young Picasso, I bring it in the image to dawn. I don't chase the bag, I don't chase the bag, nah. I attract the bag, I attract the bag, yeah. I don't chase the bag, I don't chase the bag, nah.